In 1903, a man named James Allen wrote a tiny book, barely 100 pages, built on a single sentence that would go on to influence nearly every self-help book written after it. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not what he says, not what he wants, what he actually consistently thinks. Allen believed your entire life, your character, your circumstances, even your health, is the direct result of the thoughts you've been cultivating, whether you realized it or not. Here's what he discovered in As a Man Thinketh. Allen's starting point is almost uncomfortable. He compares the mind to a garden. Whether you deliberately plant good seeds or simply leave it untended, something will grow there regardless. If you never consciously choose your thoughts, weeds, useless, often harmful ones, will grow on their own and eventually take over. Most people never actively cultivate their own mind at all. They just react, absorb, and repeat whatever thoughts happen to show up, and then wonder why their life looks the way it does.
Here's the part that separates Allen from wishful thinking. He wasn't saying just think positive and everything works out. He was saying something more specific and honestly more demanding. Your circumstances aren't random. They're the outward reflection of your inward thoughts. A person who secretly harbors resentment will keep finding situations that justify that resentment. A person who genuinely believes in their own capability will keep finding paths toward it, even through setbacks. Allen wasn't describing magic. He was describing how consistent thought quietly shapes the decisions you make every single day, decisions that eventually compound into an entire life. This leads to one of Allen's sharpest points. He said circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him. When pressure hits, when something genuinely difficult happens, people love to say the situation brought out a side of them they didn't know existed. Allen disagreed completely. That side was always there, quietly built through years of habitual thought. The pressure just made it visible. If you want to know what someone actually believes about themselves, don't listen to what they say when things are calm. Watch what surfaces when things get hard.
Allen also tackles something most self-help books avoid entirely: suffering and struggle. He argued that painful circumstances aren't punishment. They're often the direct result of thoughts that were genuinely out of harmony with truth, with other people, with your own deeper values. This isn't about blaming yourself for hardship. It's about recognizing that changing your thinking genuinely and consistently tends to change what shows up in your life over time, not instantly, but reliably. Think about how this actually plays out in ordinary life. Someone who consistently thinks, "I always get overlooked at work," isn't just being pessimistic. That thought quietly shapes how they show up in meetings, how confidently they speak up, whether they volunteer for visible projects at all. Over months, they genuinely do get overlooked, not because the world conspired against them, but because the thought shaped hundreds of small decisions that added up to exactly what they expected. Allen's point is that this works in both directions. Someone who consistently thinks, "I find a way through," tends to actually notice the paths that were there all along, paths the first person walked right past without ever seeing them.
So what do you actually do with this? Allen's answer is disciplined self-examination, regularly stepping back and honestly asking, what have I actually been thinking lately? Not what I say I believe, but what I return to when no one's watching. Because that quiet, repeated thought is the one actually shaping your circumstances. He believed anyone, regardless of where they started, could reshape their entire life by deliberately, consistently choosing better thoughts to cultivate, the same way a gardener chooses what to plant. The whole book comes down to one demanding idea. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the gardener of your own mind, and whatever you've been planting, on purpose or by accident, is exactly what's been growing. If this gave you something to actually sit with, that's the whole point. New book breakdown every Tuesday and Friday.
Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.